Alright, I thought I'd do a quick video showing how I'm doing some stuff on the Mack Titan. Show you some of the features it's going to have. Keep in mind it's still in work, so there's going to be changes coming still. Not drastic, but still some. And don't mind that trailer, I'm using it to figure out how the dunnage goes in the back. See? Alright, so we go to the store, scroll to the right, and we get to the Mack Titan. It can be 6x4 or 8x6. So here you got it. This is the shortest frame configuration or wheelbase, which is 161 inches or roughly 4 meters. Nice and cute and short for when you need a lot of maneuverability. You've got two different engines. Each engine has 3 different horsepower settings. You've got, I think, 3 different transmissions, and then some of them also have a 2-speed auxiliary transmission option on it. So you've got the MP10 with 515 horsepower with a Mack M Drive 12-speed. You've got a MP10 565 horsepower, again with that same transmission. Mack MP10 with 605 horsepower. Then you go to the MP11, which is on Australia, with the 600 horsepower, 700 horsepower, and then 780. Then you go into the M Drive with a 14-speed, same engine options. Then you go to MP10, same engines with a 14-speed with a 2-speed auxiliary. One thing you'll notice is when you go from a full Mack driveline, where you have the gold Bulldog, then you get any component that is not from Mack, then it gets the chrome Bulldog. So you got the M Drive, the 14-speed with a 2-speed auxiliary transmission with all 6 engine options. Then you go to an Allison 18-speed. This is with all the engine options. Then you go to an Allison 18. Oh, sorry, not all the engine options. Anything 605 horsepower or less, because the Allison can't take any more power than that. So you've got the 515, 565, 605 MP10s, and then the 600 MP11 with an 18-speed Allison there. Then you get the Allison with a 2-speed auxiliary. I'm just going to go back to the 14-speed M Drive with the MP10 605. All right. Next option you come to is the wheel brand, which is basically giving you either tandem axles or Tritum. I know it doesn't look like a Tritum yet, but that's because you got to do the axle spacing to get the actual look. But on the tandem axle, you can have a standard steer tire and a standard pusher. Let me get to some of these other options because then I can show the tandem. So you got chassis lengths in 4 increments from 161 inches or 4 meters all the way up to 341 inches. I'm going to probably do out to 265. Come on. Yeah, it's 265. So I'm coming back to these two options. Then you have your axle spacing. You've got tandem axle spacing from 50 inch, 52, 54, 55, 58, 60, and 72 inch tandem spacing. After that, you get into the Tritum spacing. That's why you didn't see it. So here, if we do this, now you see the Tritum. And you have all the same axle spacings on, or yeah, so you got the 50, 52, 54, 55, 58, 60, and 72. I'm going to go back to a tandem 54-inch spacing, go back to a tandem here. The Tritum has a lot of similar options here. Then you also have a center of drive axles to the rear frame. That goes from 56 inches up to 129. And these are the actual, a lot of these are coming straight from the Mack bodybuilder manual. The chassis length for most of them in the bodybuilding manual goes up in 1 inch increments. I didn't want to have to deal with all that, but I didn't think any of you guys did. If you do, it can be changed in the future. But yeah, so that's it. So you go, this is the actual options for the rear. So you can go through that whenever you get it and see what you like. 56 being the shortest. Then you have the option of lift axles. So you can have one or two. Both of them are. Then you have the axle spacing for these. So you can do it independently. So you can do the first or second. This would be the first since it's two, but the way I had to do it, this is the first axle. And so you've got all the same axle spacing options as you do with the main drives. So I'm going to put that at 54 inches for that one, and I'm going to get rid of the second one. Okay, so now we're going back up to the wheel setup. So here you can see you've got a standard steer, standard pusher. So you have a standard steer tire, standard pusher tire with street tires on your drives. Then you have a standard steer, standard pusher with off-road tires, right? Then you go standard steer, standard non-steer pusher, and actually changes the lift axle there. So I'll go back one. So you can see you actually have a steering frame there, and then you have an actual lift axle. I gotta redo the model to bend the axle below the drive shaft, and I gotta redo the drive shaft, but that's okay. Then you can have a standard steer, standard non-steer with off-road tires. Then you go a heavy steer with a standard pusher, heavy steer with standard pusher off-road, heavy steer with a heavy pusher. So you can see now you got a heavy tire on the front and a heavy on the front, super single on the front, super single on the rear. On and off-road options for that. Then you have the heavy steer with a non-steering dual off-road as well. And then you also have chains. So you have all those options, then you can also add chains. What's really cool about that is I'm skipping around a little bit, but if you go down here, just below toolbox, you got chain hangers, right? And so if you see here, you got chains on your chain hangers. But if we go back up to this option, when we add the chains to the tires, those chains go away. So yeah, a lot of really cool options. Okay, so you got chassis length, axle spacing, which we covered, lift axles, which we've covered, lift axle spacing we've covered. Now we go up to the front of the truck. You've got a bumper, you've got a stock bumper, you've got a bumper with a brush guard. You've got a sort of a heavy bumper, which is just a really simple pressed steel or whatever. You got a long heavy haul bumper. These are little toolboxes. I gotta make them open up still, but really big bumper like that. You've got a oil filled bumper, and if you don't like the color, it's okay. I've made it to where you can change their colors. You got the oil, and then more of a square oil filled bumper, bumper with a bull bar. Oh wow, I gotta make that a little bit wider. Nice. And then back to your standard. Okay. Then you have fuel tank type. So you can have round or D type. So round type or D type. This will be down below fuel tanks when I get it out for testing, but it's right there for now. So attachers, you can have a fifth wheel with a ramp. I've got to get it working again. I had to update the ramp, but it'll be a ramp for mechanical goosenecks. Then you got a fifth wheel with a pintle on the front, if I remember correctly, this pintle goes based off the color of the accent or the front fenders there. And then there will be other options for AR bodies and stuff like that. Just haven't implemented that yet. Then we get into fuel tanks. I'm going to take these chain hangers off. Actually, no. So I'm gonna. So then you have. I'm gonna go to these first, and then we'll come back to that. Then you got toolbox steps. So you can have a toolbox on the driver's side, toolbox on the passenger side, both. You can have a step on the driver's side, step on the passenger side, step on both, and then it gives you a combination of either one of those. Um, what's cool is if you put chain hangers on, so you can select driver side, passenger side, or both. When you put the toolboxes on, it shifts the chain hangers so that they're not inside the chain hanger, the boxes, and it's different for the steps as well. Okay, so enough playing with that. Let me get these off. Get the chain hangers off and talk about these fuel tanks. So these fuel tanks, they will allow you to go from 66 gallons up to 500 and some gallons. Okay. Um, it will also move the toolbox steps backwards. So the more fuel you've got, the more frame you got to have. Um, but yeah, so it's really cool. So it actually adjusts the size of the tank based on the size. So you can have 22-inch radius, or 22-inch diameter, or 26-inch diameter fuel tanks. But like you got to keep an eye on what it is, because if you're looking at your fuel gallons, it's each step is slowly increasing, or it's just different configuration for the same value. So this is a 22-inch diameter tank, 66 gallons, and you go to 26-inch diameter, 72-gallon tank. And the DEF will also adjust based off of the amount of fuel that you're carrying too. So we'll just cycle through, let you see some of these. So I just added the toolboxes back. So as you can see, you're going to have to adjust your frame length based off of what items you have, or what fuel tanks and boxes you have selected. So here we're also starting to get it, adding in a third fuel tank. And a fourth. All right, so 567 gallons is the largest we've got. So, all right. So we've already gone over toolbox steps, chain hangers. We also have grill bars. So you have your stock, or you can have sort of thick bars. You will have a bug shield. I just don't have it in. I haven't modeled it yet. You can have U.S. style intake or Australian style intake. You can do standard day cab with a fairing on top, 48-inch sleeper, 48-inch sleeper. Sorry, 48-inch sleeper with a fairing on top, and a 70-inch sleeper, and then back to a standard day cab. For the standard day cab, you've got two visor options. It only works for that one. Then you also have day cab options, so you can do a frame horn which puts a horn down here. You can barely see it. Maybe you can't see it. That's there, I think. It's up underneath. Yeah, there you go, right there. You can do. Oh, gotcha. Well, those aren't supposed to be there. They're supposed to be up on top of the hood. You've got two rectangular or two square. You can do a frame horn with a roof air conditioning unit. You can do a roof air conditioning unit with two squares, and then back to the frame horn. We'll put it on this for now. Next option you come to is the racks. So you've got a wet kit. So those of you who aren't familiar, this is basically just a hydraulic tank. Allows the truck to have a hydraulic pump for trailers and stuff that require hydraulics. You can do a standard headache rack. I think some other things I gotta correct. A heavy toolbox rack, a standard logging rack. With these, if you don't like their color, I have it colorable. Southern style logging rack. British Columbia is not showing up. British Columbia style logging rack. Another logging rack. We got a heavy haul rack with toolboxes and chain hangers. I got a heavy haul rack with an oversized load sign, which you notice is not there because we haven't checked another option down here, but it has the posts for it. And then we have this style of heavy haul rack. This is something similar to what Perkins Heavy Haul has done. You get those toolboxes, they'll open up as well. I don't think you can really store anything, but I will also make it to where they can open, and it should also disappear with the lift axle there. Okay, so we're gonna go with my favorite heavy haul rack, which is this one. Strobe lights. Okay, so now we can come to strobe lights. So we've got hood strobe lights, a single mini bar, which you'll notice is in a very weird position. You've got a single mini bar with the hood strobes. Oh, I know why. Okay. You've got dual mini strobes. You notice they're stuck in there, but don't worry. There's a fix using this right here. You got a dual mini bar with strobes. Oop, not that one. Then you have a dual strobe, dual mini 2. So these work really well on the roof, especially if you have other things on there. You've got with the hood strobes as well. Then you've got a single bar. I've just got to update it to where the lights and stuff are in the XML file. I haven't done that yet. Then you also have it with the hood strobes. Now you can change the location as well. So right now you've got it to day cab roof. You've got it to day cab rack short, which means it's going to be close to the rack. Day cab rack mid. Day cab rack tall. Then you can also have it on the 48-inch sleeper roof. So when you have the sleeper selection, see if it's better with that. Also, you notice, I'll put the sleeper on there. As you do the sleeper, it pushes the rack back. Shouldn't be pushing it back that much. So I still got little things to adjust, but it's getting there. So you can do the roof forward, or you can actually be up on the sleeper roof. Then you can also put it on the rack. Here, I gotta show that. So the rack should be there. So you can see it can go on the back roof or on the rack where it should be. Short, medium, tall. You can do it on the 70-inch sleeper roof. And then we go back to the day cab roof. Do it on the rack short. There we go. Okay. Then you have an option of side lights. Yes or no, so it adds those lights there. You also have option for the dual exhaust or a type of exhaust. So you got dual, stock duals, stock shorts, stock medium, or sorry, day cab dual. Those aren't stock. Dual shorts, dual medium, and dual tall. Then you have dual straight. I'm also going to make a flap cover for those as well, so you can have that as an option. Day cab dual miters. Then you have cab side stock, cab side short, cab side dual, medium, and tall, miter, or sorry, straight miter, and then these are for the 70-inch sleeper. They go way back. So you have stock, dual, dual tall, straight, and miter for that. I'll go with these mid mounts there. Then we also have fifth wheel slide length. So we've got a 51 inch here, a 75 inch, and a 199 inch. So what's cool about that is as you adjust it, it will give you different lengths that you can actually put the fifth wheel at, right? So we'll do the middle one and show you some of that. Rear fenders, you've got rear mud flaps with the quarter fender, half fender, full minimizers. Again, if you don't like the color, hang in there. Front minimizer, so if you don't want to have both on it, you can do a single round, double round, different round styles there. We got a half fender that's heavy duty, a diamond plate, plastic. I got some oil filled fenders, and back to none. I like minimizers. The lift axles, you can go with none, quarter, a full, and with this, it actually steers with the steer axle or the steer axle, so that looks pretty nice. You can do a paintable minimizer on there, full round, plastic, or none. I'm gonna go with another minimizer on that. Then we have heavy haul banner. We got the oversized load. Oh, you can't see it. Don't worry, I'll show you how to see that. You got dimensional for Canada. You got oversized Australia, split oversize, long vehicle for Australia, split long vehicle for Australia. Though I could be mistaken that they don't put that on the front of it. I'm not in Australia. I think I read that goes on the back for the long vehicle. If that's the case, I can easily remove that. You got your road train and road train split. All right, so I'm going to go back to the oversized haul load. For insiders, you get your name on the truck. So right now, well, you can't see it because of the color. We'll have our new company logo that we're working on. Then you also have these are interesting. Okay, let me change this main color real quick so you can actually see some of the stuff. Yeah, so there you can see the name. It goes on both driver and passenger door. Then you have fleet numbers. It's 1 through 9 with a 0, and then A through Z. I don't get why that is below. It shouldn't be below. Oh, I know what it is. It's not below. Oh, it is. Those are going down. That's rather strange. Okay. Those shouldn't be going down. I don't know why they're going down like that. But it's still a work in progress, so we'll get that fixed. So then you have your main color, which is what I changed there. You got your rooftop color, so you can change that. You got your frame color, so if you wanted a wacky frame, that also changes your axle colors. front and rear. That actually looks pretty nice. We'll go back to black. Actually, I like this onyx black. Front fenders, that's the color there. You've got a rim color, so you got aluminum, chrome, gray. So if you don't like anything flashy, you want some non-flashy stuff. I like aluminum. Front bumper. So here you can change the color of the front bumper. So if you don't like the front bumper color, which is chrome, then you can change it. I'm not always a fan of chrome. On this truck, I actually am. You also have the front grille, so you can change the color of the front grille. You can do the grille surround, and it does the intakes as well. Then you have the fuel tank color, so you got metal, chrome, all these other colors. You got the tank straps. I'll make those blue to match the truck. Then you have the headache rack itself, so that changes color. You got the rear fenders. You got the logo, which changes these, changes the logo color that will be on the door here. And then also on one of the racks, it has letters on it, which will change that as well. Okay, and then you can also change the driver name for those of you that have it on there. Okay, so let me go ahead and buy this. It's getting to be a little bit longer video than I was thinking, but that's okay. Okay, so right now I've got it set to automatic transmission. You got a jake brake in there. Okay, so a couple of features. So if we go to the outside of the truck, we've got the little IC nodes here telling you to unfold the oversized load sign. Bam. If you did get the oversized load signs up top, this IC node will unfold them as well. Okay. Then on the nose of the truck, you also have IC addable flags. And as you can see, there's nothing back here yet. Okay. Let me go here. So we go back inside. You see here, this is unlocking your fifth wheel slide. So then you can go out, and now you have all these IC nodes here. And so it'll actually give you the distance either in front of or behind the center of the tandems, or the so if you have tandems, it'll do it from the center of the tandems, which right now it's 5 inches. So if we select that, that should be 5 inches in front of, I don't know, I might have to recalculate those. So that should be right in front of the tandems. I know, I wasn't, it was I was thinking of the center here. Yeah, okay, I'll get that corrected. But it'll show you the actual distance either in front of or behind the tandem. So with the length of slide we selected, we can go up to 27 inches there in front of. Yeah, it's not quite right. But as you can see, all the other ones go away. When you go in and hit this again to lock it, it doesn't allow you to move it anymore. The other cool thing is, as you can see, this is sort of extended out right now. You go in. It's actually backwards. Extended should be for when it's ready to be moved. But there we go. Alright, so I just gotta flip that. Okay. So now we'll go get attached to a trailer. So you can hit fold and you will drop air out of your drive axles. Fifth wheel will adjust. And drop those back down. You got your hoses there. The two on the left are hydraulic. Then you got your air on the right. Yeah, so that's most of the stuff. And you got the little air conditioner fan spinning on top. Strobe lights. Oh yeah, axle does go down. I need to make it go down more. Your steering control. I forgot what it is. Where you toggle your crab steering and stuff, it will make the axles either steering axles or not. So awesome. Hope you enjoyed it.